Monday morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day, and we all had fantastic weekends. I know we did. My arm is now feeling better, Russell, because you got it in my head. I felt like 30 people punched me in the arm after my shot.
Okay, what was that like? What was it like? You get your first vaccination with the needle.
Anyways, you're tuning into Author Talk with me, Amy, Russell, Fern, and our guest today is Andrya Bailey. So everybody, hey, what is going on? My arm feels better, you guys. Russell, I'm not even going to lie to you. I hated you last Monday. I hated you, and I said that. I said I hate you.
I wish that people should go back and see that section. We need to cut that out. If we were, if it was someone besides you that would have to do it, we need to cut that out and post just that bit, because your face when I was going through the needle process was so great.
You're just evil, Russell. You're plumb evil. But anyways, let me sum this up for you. Okay, I got my first dose of the COVID vaccine, Moderna. I got the first dose last Monday, right? And Russell was very descriptive in how I was going to feel, because I'm not a fan of needles. And, you know, I must say I was sitting in that chair and I wanted to text Russell and tell him that I hated him. But who wants to hear that on a Monday?
I would love that. I would love that.
Nobody
That's why you didn't do it.
Oh, Russell, no one wants to hear that on a Monday. You know,
he would have loved it. We know Russell. He would have.
There's something to be said for sadism. I'm just saying.
Anyways, how was your guys' weekend? Did you guys do anything fun?
I went to Marble Falls.
Oh, it's beautiful there. Me and Joshua have been there. It's very pretty there. Vern, what about you?
So we celebrated my mom's birthday.
Oh, that's a big day.
It was
nice.
Day. We had a really fun time. My brother barbecued, and so we had the celebration at his house, and it was a good time. We had a fun birthday celebration for my mom.
Ooh, I love it. Andrea, what about you?
Nothing major, just resting.
Oh, those are the best weekends. I celebrated my nephew's second birthday. So I went over to Bernie and did like a cute little hayride and just spent time with my family. And Meadow got to go see both of her grandparents. And so, you know, it was just a family-filled birthday party weekend.
So there's like 20 kids there, right? What a nightmare. No. What a nightmare. All those kids cried.
No. Oh, you are just too much. It was a lot of fun.
Your children
and everything.
And how old is your child?
So my oldest, she will be 2 in July, and then
she has like 15 2-year-old cousins.
No, she has 2 other ones. You are just a bully. You are a bully. No, I love it. My youngest, there will be 1 in August. So fun times ahead for me. That is for sure. But Russell, I'm going to kick it to you because you're going to tell everybody about our YouTube channel and the promotion that we have going on.
Well, you have to talk about the promotion because I'm not attuned, but we are asking everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel and go to this video and do a like and make a comment, because it assists us in the algorithms that YouTube uses to offer it to other people that are interested as we are. So please do that and click it, and please do it now.
Yeah. So once you subscribe to our channel and you hit the bell button, if you will take a screenshot and post it in our Author Talk Facebook group, you will be entered to win a $25 Amazon gift card by helping us get to 100. So we'll be giving that away when we get to 100. So the quicker we get there and the more that you share it and make that happen for us, the quicker we can do this giveaway. And hey, who knows? Maybe by sharing, you may get more times your name entered by sharing it. You just never know how generous I'm going to feel that day. Okay. So I could be feeling real generous.
And my wife cannot compete in this. She spends so much money on Amazon. She loves Amazon, but she is not allowed to compete in this contest.
To to Amazon Addicts Anonymous. That's where I send Joshua. I'm like, you are banned from Amazon.
The valet makes fun of me when I go down to get her packages. I get made fun of.
Hey, you know, at least she doesn't hide it from you. Joshua goes to his web browser and goes incognito, so I can't see what he's looking at. So, and then I just have packages show up at my door. So at least
I think you need to check that. I think you need to check that web browser a little closer if he's doing
I don't want to do that.
I'm just saying.
I don't want to. I don't want to check it, Russell.
These two roll. This is the terrible thing to say. This is a great way to segue into romance writers. That's all I got to say.
So firm. With that being said, take it away.
That was a perfect segue into romance. We are here with Andrya Bailey, who is releasing her final installment in her romance series, Olympian Love. So, Andrya, what in the world made you want to write romance?
That was actually a challenge. Okay, you have the book cover right there. So I was challenged by two other writers, friend of mine, who, because I used to write, I also write other types of books, and I write short stories and flash fiction and poetry, and not that have happy endings. You know, I write other things that are not necessarily very, very, very happy. And I had a book that was not happy, and we wanted to do something different. And these friends of mine is like, why don't you write a genre like romance and see how you do in it? And I'm like, why me? Why don't you guys write something? And they're like, no, you're the girl. You probably know much more how to write romance and stuff. And a long time ago, many, many years ago, I had actually contemplated it. And there was some kind of a competition going on for romance. And it was to write a paragraph, to write a chapter of some interesting love scene and submit it. And they would, you know, look but I was not a writer yet. I was just very, very green about it. I just saw it. I mean, I was a writer in my mind, of course, but nothing published. And I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try. And I wrote something, you know, and I sent it. And I didn't win it, but they sent back to me the manuscript. And I thought about this, like, you know what, I have something. So I found that. And I tweaked a little bit and I sent to these two friends of mine and I said, okay, what do you think of these? And do you think there is any possibility that I can write this thing, romance? And they read at the scene and they're like, yeah, that's pretty good. You can do it. It's just like, okay, now write the rest of the story. This is like a scene. You have to have the beginning and the ending of this, and you have to do a trilogy. So I pretty much accept the challenge and I got stuck in this, but then it was a very, very interesting and fun adventure anyways to do this this whole thing with them.
So I know that you love Greece, right? And yes. Nico, he is your main character. Yes, why do I always mess up his name? I don't know, but he is Greek and yummy. Now, did you choose to do Greece because you just love it, or did you choose it so that you can go to Greece and be like, that's research?
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't think about going to Greece and do research. That came later. Because that scene that I told you that I had written a long time ago, the character was already Nikos. He was already Greek, because since I was a young girl, I've always been passionate about Greece and I had never been there. And even when I was in college, I started to take Greek lessons. I was always fascinated with mythology, Greek mythology, everything about Greece. So I always liked the culture. I always liked the history, the archaeology, the mythology, that aspect of it, the art and history. And well, for those who don't know, I am originally from Brazil. And then like when I was in Brazil one time, I actually dated a Greek guy back in Brazil.
Did he look like Nikos?
Huh?
Did he look like Nikos?
Yes, pretty much. Yes, he was that typical, like tall and.
So now we know what your romance books are about, right?
So
now we know.
So now we know how yummy he is. According to Fern in her description, he's just yummy.
He is yummy.
Yes, but that was a long time ago. I have to think, what was his name? I don't even remember his name necessarily, but that was a long time ago. But but besides him, even before I met him, I was already totally like crazy about Greek things. And so that was the character already. So when I picked up the book again from the challenge and I saw that scene, I said, okay, I'm going to work from this because I already have something, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue with the character being Greek anyways, and just going to make up something. But when I was writing the first book, I didn't know, I'm that kind of writer that I go as I write. You know, I don't plan necessarily everything. So I had no idea where book 2 was going to take me or where book 3 was going to take me. So when I was doing book 1, it was here in Houston. The character had come here. He was here. She met him here and everything. And then later on, you know, that came the opportunity for them to go back to Greece and her go to Greece and then, you know, explore that. And when I start writing book 2, which is most of the book 2 is actually in Greece, I hadn't visited Greece yet, you know, and then I had the opportunity to go there. And then I had already written the book and I went and continued basically doing the research because I looked at the places that I had researched on the internet, the hotels and, you know, the same place that I end up staying in. And then I visited that had described it to make sure that it was like the way that I had researched them. So it is completely different when you see in real life what you're describing, because now you can kind of make the descriptions a little more vivid because now you were there, you actually experienced the smells, the sounds, you know, and you can try to infuse your writing with those real feelings that you had. And also I had the help from a friend of mine that is a Greek historian, you know, just to make sure that the parts were also correct on the history part. So everything felt okay. And then after that, I ended up going to Greece a couple more times anyways. And then the last book actually that we are coming up, the release, ends up in another place in Greece, not Athens. You know, she goes to the island of Crete, which I also visited 3 times. So because I knew it also, and it was very familiar to me because I had just been there, it was very easy for me to write about it because I was experiencing a lot of the places that I end up describing in the book and some of the experiences.
So in your novel, in your romance novel, it's a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So how did you manage to move the relationship along? Like, you know, when you first pick up a romance novel, you kind of expect that it's going to end happy in that moment, right? In that first one. How did you do it so that you were able to kind of keep the relationship going across the 3 books?
I had to use a lot of conflict. So it's just a lot of times when you read a romance, you don't have necessarily a specific plot. You know, it's more like the history of the 2 characters. Well, this is the history of the 2 characters because I don't give a lot of exploration to the other characters. It mainly focuses on both of them, but there are a lot of other characters that like come in to prevent them from being together. Another thing that also helped that relationship continue through 3 books is because of the distance. So you have like one character living in Houston, you have one character living in Greece, you know, like you can't just like in one book in a couple of days, they just decide like, hey, you know what, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life. I'm abandoning my country and coming and being with you. So that's kind of unrealistic anyways, although it has happened with some people that I know. I mean, not that fast, but you know, like it happens. So but you have to have that intrigue. So there is a story behind it, you know, like we have the story, and I put a lot of history and mythology. So basically, you know, Sabrina is a graduate student. She's about to get her master's degree in art history, concentrating in mythology and Greek history. And Nikos is an archaeologist and a curator in Greece, and he comes to Houston because he's with an exhibit that's going to be on special loan to the museum. So he's supposed to be here in the summer for 2 months, you know, together with the exhibit and doing talks and you know, visiting. But then something happens back in Greece because of the museum, you know, and then he needs to return unexpectedly before the 2 months. So the romance has just barely started and immediately has to be broken down because he needs to go back. And then, you know, them not knowing, they're completely in love with each other, but it's that complication because they know that they are living in completely different worlds, and there's no guarantee that they would even, you know, see each other again or be together. So both of them are very conflicted with what they feel for each other because of this, you know. It's like, okay, you know, I have my whole world there, my job, whatever, and she's like, oh, I have my thing here, I'm gonna graduate, and then like I'm in love with this guy, and what am I gonna do because I may never see him again, you know. But it's kind of like unavoidable that they get together because they are just like crazy for each other. So of course, like there is a separation, there is this thing. And then when he goes back to Greece, he's also involved in a lot of things because, you know, there is this situation that happened, and there's more characters. And then she ends up going there in the second book, and then she doesn't know much about his life. So she tries to find out more, you know, and gets involved with some of his friends and tries to see what kind of life does he have, and what's going on with him. Does she have any future? Should she even invest in this relationship? But she can't help it because she's totally in love with him. And then again, you know, something happens that they need to split so that I can continue on the third book for the final of their love to materialize, for them to be together. So there is more conflict, more separation. And then on the third book, we're gonna finalize their situation, and they get together again. They work out all the differences and all this stuff that kept them apart. And, you know, it's a romance. So it's no secret that it's a happy ending. Otherwise it wouldn't be a romance. So, but until you get there, you know, there will be a lot of conflict and intrigue. So
I love how you, like, they were challenging you because they wanted you to write a happy ending. So basically you wrote 2 kind of unhappy endings to get to the final happy ending.
Yes, and to tell you the truth, it was much easier for me to write the 2 with the unhappy endings than to reach the third with the happy ending. So I think that's why I stalled so much in it and had such a hard time like finishing the book. And also because I've started these the first book was published a couple of years ago, and these characters have been on my mind the whole time. So it was also not necessarily a struggle to write the final happy ending, but also a struggle of my own craziness to let go of these characters, you know, because once I finished at the end, like I'm done with them, and how can I be done with them? I love them, you know, they're not going to be in my mind talking again. How can I, you know, I can't let them go. So it was kind of like a weird thing. And, you know, like we writers, we understand when we kind of like get so passionate about our characters, and they're always talking in our minds, and now it's like, okay, they are not talking to me anymore because it's all resolved. Where's Nikos? Where's Sabrina? Like, okay, they're like in blissful love now. They're not talking to me about how am I gonna see him again? How am I gonna see her again? So,
that is hilarious. So you were holding on to them. You didn't want to
kind of, but you know, there were other issues too. We were in the year of the crazy pandemic. So that also kind of like, it's not that I had writer's block. It was more like my mind was like all over the place. You know, I would sit and start writing and then I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. And I was like thinking about something else, and it's like thinking about family and like, we can't get out of here. We can't go out. We can't do this. We can. So the mind was way too busy to focus and concentrate. And then after a while, I started getting used into this. And then, you know, it started happening again. But in the beginning, it was this kind of, you know, because I was supposed to have finished it in the beginning of like 2020. And then that's when this whole thing happened. And then just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't concentrate.
Mm. So you wrote this romance trilogy and you explored romance writing. You have other genres that you do. What's next? Where, you know, are you going to do another romance? Are you thinking of going to something different? What are your thoughts?
Well, there are.
I need to know.
What?
As your publisher, I need to know.
Yeah, and I have a couple of questions about how Fern is as a publisher too.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Was she your editor as well?
I'm a wonderful editor, aren't I?
You're the greatest editor I've ever had.
Hey, Fern, take it. Just take it. I got it last week. Take it.
You're spectacular. But I wanted to know if she tried to get you to put a dragon in your romance.
No, she didn't.
And how did you keep her from putting a dragon on your cover?
Because I make my own covers. I have my own.
Okay, those were my two questions.
That's how you do it. You just take control of your cover. Okay, all right. I like it. I like it. Yeah, those were great questions, man. Those were great because, you know, I wasn't thinking those, but now that he's asked them, now I can totally see it. Like, that's legit. I get it, Russell. That's a good concern.
Come on. I'm not going to put a dragon on everybody's cover, only if it's pertinent.
But it would be kind of cool, though. It's like a little Easter egg thing, like for the Inklings writers, you know?
I know, but what you have to do.
Okay, and how did you keep the purple out of it?
Huh? I have a solution for the dragon in every book.
Oh, yeah.
We need to tweak the Inklings logo to have a little dragon on it.
There you go.
That's true. That's true. We totally should. We totally should.
And every book from Inklings is going to have a dragon, so no problem.
See? Well, yeah, I'll hide a dragon somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Easter egg. That's the Easter egg of Inklings. You know, you got to go check out Inklings authors' books, find that little dragon, see where it's at. Find the hidden dragon. I'm telling you, that would be great.
That's actually kind of a cool idea. Find the hidden dragon.
I would totally do that. I would go and find your books and totally do that. Like a scavenger hunt. I like things like that, though. I like little scavenger hunt things, you know? I don't know. I'm super nerdy. Whatever. I embrace it. I just accept it. It is what it is.
I love that. Okay, you haven't answered. Where are we going next?
Yes, because Russell interrupted with the dragon story. Well, I have some ideas here, and I don't know like which one will come first, or if I will even do it. But one of the ideas is some of my readers have expressed before a desire to read Nico's point of view. You know, because the books, the trilogy, is basically on Sabrina's point of view. So it's only her experiencing everything, and she only finds out things through other people if she's not there to see it. You know, so somebody tells her she knows what's happening, or she goes and sees something. So she never really knew, you know, in several of in the first books and all that, how he really felt. And it was never there, because the only way you can tell how he was feeling is by his attitude and by his whatever he was doing and his dialogues and whatever, you know, his body language and his expressions were doing. So the readers and everybody can have a feel for what he was really feeling. And which is kind of interesting too, that men, when they read the romance and see what Nikos is doing, and women, when they read the romance and see what he's doing, they have a very different idea, right? Because we as women, like, okay, if he's going out with somebody else, you automatically imagine that, yes, he's lying, he has somebody else, he has another woman, whatever. With his attitude, because there is like another person there, another female character that tries to call his attention, that is always vying for his attention. But my male readers, and I do have beta readers that are male too, just to give me, you know, that kind of perspective as well on how I'm portraying the man. And they were like, this is so clear that he's into her. And I said, okay, but on a women's perspective, they were like, no, we're not clear that he's into her because we don't know. I mean, a guy can be very, 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 you know, can like and cheat and nobody knows what they are thinking, you know. So because of that, and I guess, you know, because I had some people not only writing reviews, but sending me messages and emails saying, hey, are we ever going to see the point of view of Nikos, what he was feeling throughout the whole thing? So there is a possibility that I may want, because I also don't want to get rid of them, right? So like
you want to hang on to
bringing me back to them. If I have not a trilogy, but maybe like a one, you know, solo book about Nikos, and kind of like condense all the 3 books into him and like the main situations.
But that won't give you a dragon. We need a story that'll have a dragon.
Well, romance with a dragon would have to be historic, and then I would have to go into a completely different genre.
Is he half dragon? Maybe he's a half dragon. Maybe that's what we didn't get from Sabrina.
Oh Lord! Oh my gosh! No, please don't do that. Oh my goodness! Oh no. Lord.
So that is one of the possibilities that I might think about writing, or I can start writing and then see if you take me somewhere. And I also have an idea for another romance. And I'm going to try not to do a trilogy this time, because I want to resolve everything in one book. You know, the trilogy is wonderful, but since I am not a full-time writer and I have to work also, it gets very, 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 very time consuming to do like a trilogy, because you want to do it. You want to release them faster.
Yes.
And it was not a possibility, because actually when I started writing the first book, I was not working full time. So it was much easier for me to finish. When I started writing the second one, I also wasn't working, but then like start working as I was, you know, about to finish the second one. So it already started to be a little more busy and convoluted for me to dedicate the time that I needed to write it. So the other one because the trilogy, the Olympian Love trilogy, explores Greek mythology. And I'm thinking of writing another one of a romance that would explore the Norse mythology, because 2 years ago I went to Iceland. So it could be like in Iceland, because I already went to the place and I can, you know, draw from my experience and from my visit there, several of the places. Actually, when I was there, I thought about that. You know, I was like looking at some places saying, oh, this would be like a great place for a romantic scene. So I have that already, you know, in my mind.
You realize that means that it has to have a happy ending right away.
Yes.
Okay.
I can make it maybe big. I mean, I don't know, like this is still like work in progress in my mind, you know, because I will also have to do some more research in the Norse mythology, because I like it, but I'm not as knowledgeable about Norse mythology as I am about Greek mythology, because it's always been like my passion, you know, like everything about Greek. But at least I know the country, and it would be like somewhat easier for me to write and describe things about Iceland, because when I was there, I saw and experienced and tasted and all that. So that is something that could possibly also continue with the theme of mythology somehow, you know, in another book.
Sounds great. Now we're running out of time, as our time Nazi mentioned to us in the chat. But this weekend, right, on Saturday, 7 p.m., we're going to be launching your novel, Olympian Love. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be Greek mythology trivia going on. It's going to be a fun event on the Inklings Publishing page. So if you guys are tuning in, make sure you save the date, save the time, put yourself a reminder, because we're going to be having a good time with Andrea at her release.
Well, you put that on the author Facebook page, the party, the launch, so everyone can check it out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, don't forget also this Monday on Through the Eyes of Authors, we're going to be talking Instagram and how you can use it as for a writer. Keep in mind, it's not perfect for all genres. So just keep it
like
in mind.
massage therapist, right?
Anyways, we're going to have Haley Kilgour talking to us about how she uses Instagram for her bookstagrammers, all these hashtags in the writer community that she has become a part of. So make sure you tune in Monday at 7 p.m. for Through the Eyes of Authors. Russ, I'll stop it. I'm going to come to you last. Fern, closing comments, questions, concerns, statements.
Closing comments. Make sure you come party with us at 7 p.m. on Saturday. It's going to be so much fun. I mean, you know, it's a romance novel and we are celebrating the release. So, I mean, you can
romance and mythology. And Greek mythology.
It's going to be a party. Okay.
So much fun. Yes, that's Saturday the 24th, 7 p.m. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have a lot of fun. Questions, all kinds of stuff. You're not going to want to miss it. Russell, closing statement from you.
See if you can find the hidden dragon in the 4 pictures in front of you. There's a hidden dragon.
You're the dragon.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
There is a dragon. There is a dragon. Yes. He's over my shoulder.
You have me looking odd. Okay, you guys are going to throw me off. Anyways, you guys, this has been so much fun. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us today and taking the time out of your day to come and talk to us. I cannot wait for your party and your book launch to complete your romance series. So everybody have a fantastic Monday. And, you know, it's going to be so much fun. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And we'll catch you all next Monday.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Bye.